Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. So, welcome back to the session. I hope for the online, I hope my voice is clear for you. Can you please confirm once whether I'm audible or not? Online, are you able to hear me? Is my voice clear for all of you? Okay, fine. So, in last class, which topic we have seen? We have seen about. So, what is a pipeline and why we need to use it? It's a step-by-step execution of a process, or you can call it as series of events interlinked with each other. Correct or not, sir? Fine. So let me log into my console. Already we are having an EC2 instance, so we can use that one to create, to go with the task for today. So in today's session, we are going to speak about the concept of master and slave. Which one? One second. Let me go here and create an EC2 instance here in the meanwhile. Never be job will be trigger very really tall fail. So what you are trying to do here? Hour 24. Okay. We will discuss it, Durga. Okay. I got the issue like what you are trying to tell me. We'll discuss it. So guys, here I'm having an EC2 instance. So first of all, I'm gonna set up my Jenkins here. So I think I lost it. Yeah. So I'm gonna take the server called Jenkins. So basically, tell me one thing. Whenever if the master is going to get the load, what will happen? The Jenkins server is going to get the load. What will happen in generally? It is going to crash. So when the Jenkins server got crashed, is it going to be a big issue or not, sir? Of course, you know how to recover, but every time if it is going to crash, it is not going to be the good thing here. Okay. So in order to make this highly available all the time, so we are going to implement the concept called master and slave. But what exactly the master and slave is here? I'm going to explain very clearly. So let me go to my GitHub and try to set up this one. I'll open mobile system here. Jenkins. And how many of you practice pipelines? So after practicing, how's the pipelines for you? Easy or not? Fine. So guys, everything depends upon your practice. The more you practice, the easy concepts will become. Okay. So I'm going to run the script here in the meanwhile. Internet is too slow. I'm getting only a couple of points now. See, I'll explain the paint here. Fine. So generally, let's take my Jenkins server. Okay. So if it is your Jenkins server. Okay. So let's call Jenkins as your own name. For example, this Jenkins server was in the screen and it is you. Generally, if you are doing some work in your home, unfortunately, your mom tells some other work for you. What you gonna do? You are doing a work on your home. For example, cutting the onions, Cutting the vegetables, of course, which you never do, but issue. Unfortunately, we are doing it, but your mother is asking to do some other work. She is asking you to clean the home actually. In that case, what is the first option you're gonna do? You can't tell no. Why? Because we have a very long belt in our home. Huh? So in that case, what you gonna do? We are going to tell to our siblings, correct or not, sir? Here also, whenever Jenkins is doing certain builds, okay, when the user try to ask to do one more build, Jenkins is not gonna do that build. Jenkins is asking the slave to do the build. Just like we tell siblings to do the work, here my Jenkins server will go and tell to the slave servers. Which servers? Slaves are nothing but your EC2 servers. Slaves are nothing but your, if you create a EC2 server and if you connect them to the Jenkins, then that is what exactly we are going to call it as slave. See, for example, here, user is asking me to make 3 builds. How many builds? So I'll take here build number 1 and eventually I'll be taking here build number 2, and I take build number 3. Sir, can't we do them concurrently? Yes or no? But if you do concurrently, what will happen? Crashed. You know the question, you know the answer. That was very good. But instead of doing this concurrently, what I'm trying to do is I want to distribute the builds. What I want to do? So first build, I'll ask my Jenkins server to do. So I'll give the build number 1 to Jenkins server. So similarly, whenever if I try to give build number 2, Jenkins will not do it. Why? Because Jenkins is already executing a build. So if I try to execute the concurrent builds, it's going to result me the crashing. In order to do that, now if I pass build number 2 to Jenkins, now Jenkins will tell that I am already doing build 1, so I cannot do it. Why? Because if I get load, I'll be crashed down. So, but here user wants this build immediately. So in that case, Jenkins is gonna send the build to the slave server. Which server? Now slave will do the build. Similarly, now user is trying to send the build number 3 for the Jenkins. Again, Jenkins is still executing build number 1, but user want me to make build number 3 immediately. So in that case, instead of Jenkins, my slave number 2 is gonna make this build number. Now here 3 bills are equally distributed or not, sir? Whenever I distribute the bills, will I get any kind of load to my server? Here my work will be done, as well as his server is also going to be safe. So this kind of architecture is what exactly we can call as master and slave. So the main agenda of master and slave is going to be, whenever if you are doing the multiple builds in the Jenkins, Jenkins will eventually crash down. So in order to protect the Jenkins server from the crash down, we are going to distribute the build with the help of the master and slave concept. Here master is nothing but your Jenkins server. Slaves are nothing but your EC2 instance. Is the point number 1 clear for all of you now? Online, can you please confirm, is the point number 1 clear for all of you or not? Okay. So here if you can go and see, master and slave means it is used to distribute the bills. What is the main purpose? To reduce the load on Jenkins server. And here you can see, sir, you said that slaves are going to connect to the master. How the connection is going to happen means with the help of SSH. Which kind of connection? With the help of SSH, the communication between master and slave is going to be happen. Guys, remember SSH is going to be very, very important in the real time. Why? Because it is responsible to connect to servers. And the port number of SSH is going to be 22. And full form? Secure shell, or even though you can call it a secure socket host. Anything will be fine. Okay. So communication between master and slave is also going to be SSH here. And one more thing. If my slave want to connect to my EC2 instance, so we know we need to have SSH. But one more thing you need to have is agent. What we need to have here? Agent means the software what you are installing on the worker node can be called as agent. For example, see, in my slave number 1 as well as my slave number 2, I am going to install Java here. What I'm going to install? That is called as agent. Remember, without installing the agent in your slaves, you cannot be able to communicate with the Jenkins server. So I'm installing here Java 11. What I'm trying to install here? Here Java 11 is nothing but agent. Without agent, can we able to communicate the worker nodes to the master node? No, I'll show it practically for you. Without installing Java, I'll try to show you like how it is going to work for you. So this is the one. So now tell me, for communication, what kind of communication you are going to use? Communication. Hey man, what kind of communication between master and slave? SH. But here we are going to install agent in the slaves. What is agent here? See, agent is nothing but the software you are installing in the worker node. Remember, if somebody call you agent, if somebody asks you what is agent, the software that you are installing on servers to connect, that is called as agent, like that. Here in our master and slave, what is the agent here? Java 11. If I don't have Java 11, can I able to combine my slave with my master node? No, correct. So here I have given that. It's an interview question. Okay, what is agent in Jenkins? Java 11 directly. So slaves can be platform independent. So that means slave you can take Windows or you can take Linux or even though you can take Mac OS. But generally we go with the Linux only. And final thing is gonna be label. Label means already know it's a way of assigning the work for the slave. For example, let me tell you this one. Sir, currently you are having the slaves. How many slaves you are having? Just call them as your like siblings. And the Jenkins is nothing but you. Your mom said to do the work. You are already doing the work. Now you are having two siblings. How can you assign the work to any one of the sibling? By calling them with their name or not, sir? For example, we are having like two siblings, Ramesh and Suresh. If your mom said a work for you, but you are already in the work, you want to assign it to Ramesh. Now you are gonna call Ramesh and you are going to give him the work. Now, if you want to assign the work, you are going to call Suresh. Correct or not, sir? So your label is nothing but for every slave, we are going to give the unique name. What we are going to give? Based upon the unique name is going to, the work will be allocated. For example, I'll take the slave label as 1. What is the slave 1 label? 1 I am giving. Okay. And slave 2 label will be eventually 2 I am giving. For example, let's take. So slave 1 label will be 1 and slave 2 label will be 2. Now, whenever if the Jenkins want to execute the build number 1, already my build number 1 is executing by Jenkins. But for example, now I want to execute my build number 2. What I want to execute now? So if build number 2 will come to the Jenkins, now Jenkins will ask the slave to make the build number 2 with the help of label only. See, if you want to assign the build to a particular slave, you need to give the label. Just like if I want to assign the work to my sibling, I need to call them by name. To assign the work here also, to assign the work, we need to give here label. Label is nothing but the unique name of your slave. If you do everything practical, it is going to be very, very easy for you to understand. But again, I am explaining one more time here. So master and slave is nothing but this is the concept what we used to distribute the bills. Why do you distribute the bills? To reduce the load in the Jenkins server. And communication between master and slave is going to be SH. And here we need to install Java in Java 11 in the slaves. That is called as here agent. What we need called as agent. And slaves can be platform independent. We can use Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, but generally we prefer to use only Linux. And here label is nothing but way of assigning the work to the slave actually. That means based upon the labels, the work will be distributed to the slaves actually. Fine. So before I go and explain the practical part, is theoretical part clear for all of you now? Online, can you please confirm me, is the theoretical part clear for all of you or not? Okay, fine. What is a slave? It's an EC2 instance, Nikhil. Okay, I'm writing this point also. Slave means EC2 instance. Okay, that's it. So coming to the practical part, already here we are having the Jenkins server. First of all, let me go and connect to the Jenkins server very quickly. Okay. So the public IP address I need to give and the port number will be 88. So already you can see the password here. So I can double tap here and I can go and I can paste it here. Okay. So install the plugins in the meanwhile. And what is a plugin? Already we discussed. It's a it's a small software which can automate our work. That means without downloading the software, if we download the plugin, we can work with it. Okay. And in interview, they'll ask you what are the default plugins. Already we said Ant, Gradle, Git. Okay. So this will be the default plugins. Of course, we have a lot of things, but majorly these will be the highlighted plugins. And I want one charger. Is anyone having Dell charger? Dell only, yeah? Okay. So I'm giving the username and password here. Thank you. So guys, the concept is going to be very, very interesting, but you need to pay your full attention here for the next 30 minutes. And remember, if you go to the real timer, this concept is the first concept what I need to work on actually. Okay. So try to understand the process. I'm going to explain in a very easy way. So here I have my Jenkins dashboard. Let's go and create a job actually. So I'm going to create the CA job. I think all of you know CA job, right? So how to do the CA job? Tell me. Freestyle. Okay. So next to take the code from GitHub. And what is the account name? DevOps Beraham. Jenkins Java project. We just go to the account. You can see it here. Take the code. And now in the CA job, just go here, select the source code management Git. What is the branch? Master. Okay. So here go for build step and here click on execute shell. And the second option you can do is instead of execute shell, you can go for invoke top level man targets. Both will be giving the same output. So I'm giving clean package. So if I click on save, generally what will happen, this build will be happening on the Jenkins main node. Okay. So if you see here, if I go to the console output, in the console output, what I can see, it is my console output. You can see it very, very clearly. Currently, it is building on the my current node only. Running a system means like it is currently executing the Jenkins on my, it is executing the build on my Jenkins server. How can you go to the workspace CD, var, lib, Jenkins, workspace, name of the job will be CI job. Are you seeing the output here? So now continuously, if the user is trying to give the build number 2 and 3 continuously, so what happened? It is going to get the load. So in order to reduce the load, which concept we going to use now? Master and slave. Here master means your Jenkins server. Slave means your. So already I have the master. I need to create what here? Slaves. So let's go and create two EC2 instances. I think this account number of instances too. Amazon and X2. T2 micro, it's fine. I think this account will not create because I have some restriction with the usage of CPU. Wait. Basically, I'm using this account very constantly from past few months. That is the reason like it is asking me to extend your quotas actually. Go for service limit increase. If it doesn't work, I need to take some other EC2 instances. EC2 instances, region US East one. Guys, it's a not a part of your work actually. Basically, my account is not giving a lot of CPUs as per my requirement. Okay. I think it will take a lot of time. Wait, I'll use some other account. Let me sign out from here. Let me click in log back in. And now, like, I need one of your account for the class. But because I cannot create the EC2 instance on my account here, so any one of your AWS account. So stop all the instances, then it's work properly. Basically, I have only one instance, Nikhil. I don't have much instance. I have only one instance in the entire account. So guys, I need one of your AWS account for the class. I'm not asking your land properties, man. Huh? Just only an account. Okay, so I am user. Okay, fine. So thank you, Bhushan. Tomorrow also I'm gonna use the same thing. Wait, I'll use this other one. So Adil Rashid, if you are having MFA, please ready with it. Password failed. Adil, can you please recheck your password? Adil, are you there? Like, I'm not able to log in with your password. Like, I think you're having some issue with the password. Very unique, right? Uh, Durga, like, is your like what are the details you provide? Like, is that your IAM user or like normal root user account credentials you have given? Because I can see the username. That means like IAM only. Root user credential. Huh? Okay. Wait. Let me sign into my console here at the rate gmail.com. I'll copy this one and I'll paste it here. Okay. So here I'm having my account. So I can go here and I can practice with this one now. And the one thing you need to like understand is here. So guys, it doesn't matter like what are the account you are using. It can be root user account or it can be IAM user account. In real time, we go with IAM only. But as of now, you don't know what is IAM, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'll explain later session. So here the best part is I already have my Jenkins setup ready here. So no need to waste the time here. So port number is 8080. And again, the credentials, Satya. Right. It's not getting. Okay. Username and password I'm trying to use to log in. No, like Sadhya, I'm not getting the password. Oh, okay, fine. Sign. So here I can be able to sign to my Jenkins dashboard. So these are all the like jobs what we have seen in last session. For example, say I'm having a lot of jobs here. Okay. So first job, if I want to build on the master, and one more thing, you can remove all of them actually. But here I'm keeping it for our practice. Give me a second, let me turn to the show. I have until seated charger basically. Seated. For the laptop, then okay, not for. Thank you. Okay, fine. So I think Colin, you are able to hear me now. Okay. So here, for example, if I go to the Polesium, let's take Polesium or any of the job. But here I'm gonna create my separate job here instead of doing that one. So the job name will be Ram actually. Okay. So click on Freestyle and click on. Okay. So the moment if I do this one, I'll be going to the configuration of my continuous integration here. I'll be going to the GitHub here, repositories, and here I'm gonna give the branch name as master. So in the section of add build step, I'll go here and I'll go for the invoke top level Maven target. So the concept is here clean package. So if I click on save and if I click on build now, automatically it is going to build on my main server only. Okay. For example, if you want me to show the main server, see it is your main server. So if I click on connect, I am connecting through the terminal now. I mean like, sorry, the browser. What is the default path here? No, workspace path I'm asking. Sudo -i, if I go to cd var lib Jenkins workspace and name of the job will be like Raham this time. So you can see the output here, right? It is on my Jenkins server. Which server? So as per the diagram, currently my build number 1 is happening on the Jenkins server. But what is my requirement? I want to distribute the build to the slave servers. Here, what is the meaning of slave here? EC2 instance. So now let's go and create two EC2 instances quickly. So I'm creating normal EC2 instances here. So first one will be like, I'm going to give number of instances to. So I'll be going to give it as Amazon Linux 2, general configuration, and keeper, I'll create a new keeper, okay? Slave keep. And I'm going to give all traffic as usual. So click on launch instance. So now my couple of servers are launched here. So first server, I'm going to give it as slave 1. What is my first server here? And second one, I'm going to name it as slave 2. Guys, already we've seen, for example, if I want to distribute the build for my slave 1 and slave 2, I need to install here agents. What I need to install? So what is agent here now? Java 11. If you don't install Java 11 and if you try to connect with them, so definitely it is not going to work with you. So let me show it in the practical way for you. So I'm going to move this to my folder of rest. Yep. So I'll take a new tab here, CD, desktop, and rest is my folder where I have all my key pairs. So try to connect to the slave 1. Guys, what is the command to install Java 11 in our EC2 machine? M won't work. Amazon Linux extras for 1.8.0 you can go with M, but currently I'm using which version? 11. So for 11 definitely you are going to use Amazon Linux. So here already you are having the command Amazon Linux extras install Java OpenJDK 11-y. So I'll execute this command in my machine to install Java 11. Sudo -i. So guys, here we are going to learn a lot of troubleshooting now. Currently, which version of Java I'm installing now? 11. So once the Java 11 is installed on your slave machine, you can directly go to the user interface and you can connect. So connecting steps I have given each and every one in the notes. So what is the point you need to click on each and every step? So no need to worry about the process. It is already pre-written on your notes. So just focus on the console here. But before go here, just try to check Java version. So give the command Java hyphen. Which version now? 11. Correct. So now here I'll be going to my Jenkins console. In the dashboard, see, I'm giving the point to point. You need to go for first dashboard and then you need to go for manage. Correct. So click on manage Jenkins. Then you can see something called as nodes. What you can see? Nodes. Okay, here you can see built-in node. Built-in node is nothing but my master. What is built-in node here? You can call it as built-in node or you can call it as master node or you can call it as Jenkins server. 3 will be having the same meaning here. So click on here new node. The new node name will be slave 1. So I'm clicking permanent agent. Permanent agent means it is gonna stay for the rest of the days. I'm not gonna delete it anymore. Again, one more time I'm gonna tell you for you. So first of all, go to manage Jenkins. From manage Jenkins, next you need to go to nodes. From nodes, you need to go to new node. So name will be slave 1. Okay, guys, no need to give slave 1. You can put any name. You can put ABC. You can put XYZ. Anything is fine. So click on permanent and click on create. So number of executors, that means number of builds maximum we can do for the slave. Already you know executors means number of builds maximum we can do for the slave. In interview, they are going to ask you a question like this. They are going to test your knowledge on Jenkins. How many number of build executors will be there for Jenkins by default? Tell me the answer for it. Correct, 2. That means Jenkins can do maximum 2 builds at a single time. Okay. So number of build executors. I want my slave to do 3 builds. How many builds? You can put 3, you can put 2, you can put 1 also. It's user defined. So I am giving here 3 as of now. Remote root directory means the place where you are going to store your console output. By default, your Jenkins master will be storing the output on var lib Jenkins workspace. But here in our slave servers, we don't have var lib Jenkins. Correct or not? Why? Because in our slave, you don't install Jenkins. Na? So var lib Jenkins will not come. When will var lib Jenkins come? If you install Jenkins. But in our slaves, we are not installing Jenkins. So var lib Jenkins will not be presenting there. So now here you are going to give the path where you want to store your console output. Here I am giving /tmp. What I am giving? That means my output need to be stored on tmp folder. Next, labels. Already you know label is nothing but way of assigning the work to the slave. So label would be unique. So I'm giving the name as 1, or you can put any of the name. It's user defined. So you can give XYZ, ABC, like anything is fine. Coming to the usage here, if you click on drop down, only build job with the label expression matching this node. That means whenever if I give the label 1, then only build on this node. Otherwise, don't build here. Okay. Next, launch method. Sir, connecting to master and slave will be which kind of connection here? Select this one. Now here you are going to give the host. Host means the IP address of your slave server. So currently go to here. give the IP address of slave 1. I'm giving here private IP. So go here and give the private IP. Next, coming to the credentials, by default, we don't have any credentials. So click on add Jenkins. I am gonna connect my server with username with private key. So these credentials will be helpful to connect my slave server to the master. If I don't give credentials, these two will not be communicating with each other. Okay. So coming to the description, I am using it for my slave 1. Description is very, very important. So username, what is the username here? EC2 user. Coming to the private key, click on this private key, click on add. Sir, for your slave, already you download the PEM file on your local or not, sir? Now go to the local, whatever the PEM file you are having here, just take this PEM file. Okay. Copy this and just go here and paste it. That's it. Now, if you click on add, so automatically this is going to be added to your console. That's it. And finally, you are going to give the verification strategy as non-verifying strategy. Which verifying strategy? That's it. So if you click on save, automatically what will happen, your slave 1 is going to be on running status. Which status? It's launching now. Is it coming for running or not, sir? So what I'll be doing, I'll go to the slave 1 and I'm going to delete the slave here. What I'm going to do? Why you are deleting means I just want to show you one more time how to create. But because it is going to be very, very understandable for you if I show them multiple times. So from the scratch, tell me how to create the slave now. Manage Jenkins. Correct. Next. Nodes. New node. Correct. Slave will be slave 1. Okay. You can put any name. You can put slave or whatever you want. So create. So number of build executors means don't tell me the values. Tell me what is the meaning of that line. Number of executors means how many builds we can do for the slave. 3. Remote root directory means where the output is going to store. I want to store on TMP. Label is nothing but the unique name for the slave. I'm gonna give it as 1. Okay. If not 1, you can give any tree name or any chocolate name. Anything is fine here. So coming to usage, what is the usage here? I'll tell you one tip. If you want to remember the configuration in a easy manner, wherever you are seeing drop down, select last option. Don't remember the values. Are you seeing drop down? What you need to select? And again, last option. Okay. And here also again. That's it. Okay. For the drop down, wherever you are seeing last option, just select them. Okay. That is your default configuration. It is for your clarity only. Okay. But don't do like this. Just read that one before you go. So coming to host here, we need to give the private IP address of our slave. I am copying the private IP address of my slave. And here credentials. Already I have added the credentials. If you can go and see, I have the credential, but I'll show you one more time how to add. Click on add, select Jenkins. Here I need to select username with private key. What you need to select? So description, I am using it for my slave 1. What is the default user? And here private key, if you select this one, click on add. Already in your local. For your slave, you download the PEM file or not, sir? Whatever the PEM file you download for your slave, give the PEM file here. That's it. And again, each and every configuration is pre-written here. Just if you go to here, wait. If you go to here, each and every steps like how to give the private key. So everything is written here. So you need not to worry about anything here. Fine. So after giving this one, so I'm canceling it. Why? Because I already have the credentials here. Click on slave 1 and click on save. That's it. Automatically now your slave 1 is launching now. Now once your slave 1 is launched, directly you can go and you can click on build now. So automatically output will be going to the slave 1. But here I need to inform to the label. Why? Because based upon the label only, my job will be scheduling on a particular node. So go back to your dashboard now and try to go for Raham. For Ubuntu command is going to be different, Vikram. Okay. So click on configuration. In the configuration, you can see restrict where this project can run. This option will not visible if you don't set up the slave. I repeat one more time. This option will not visible when you don't set up the slave. So select here, what is the label of slave 1? 1. So if I click on save, automatically the output is going to be storing on slave number 1. So, but here unfortunately, if I build now, it is gonna go to failed. Which status? Failed. Let's see. What happened here? It got failed. Process is correct. There is no doubt, but there is some logical mistake in it. I'll explain what is a logical mistake. But before that, in interview, they are going to ask you one more question. How can you identify and resolve the build failures in Jenkins? If you want to see the errors in the Jenkins builds, first of all, you need to go to the console output. Where you need to go to? If you click on red mark, directly you can go to console output. Or if you click on build number, from here also you can go for the, any way you can go. So you need to search for error here. What you need to search for? Sir, in this very, very big page, how can I find the error? So just to go Control F and type here error. Now if you can see, what is the first error? Performing the git command. Okay. Second one, if you go and see, cannot run the perform git command. That means you cannot run the git. Why I'm not able to run the git? Why? Because git is not installed. Tell me one thing. Without installing the git, how can I take the source code to my slave server? Logical or not, sir? That's it. Okay. So in the background, what will happen? I am assigning the build number to my slave number 1. So whenever this build number 2 come, in the build number 2, what I have? I already have the continuous integration job. Continuous integration job means I need to get the code. I need to build it, test it. To get the code, which tool we need to install? But have I installed Git here? And to do building and testing, which tool we need to install? Have I installed that? That is the reason we are having the failure for the build. So here also, I just shown you build failure. Why means we need to install the packages. Which packages we need to install? Git, Java 1.8.0 and Maven. Why? Because Git will take the source code. Maven will take it, build and test. Correct. And 1.8.0 is a dependency of Maven. And after installing the Maven, you need to check the Maven version. Why? Because Maven need to have definitely Java 1.8.0 by default. Check the version of Maven. MVN-V. Oh, sorry, it's not C. Wait. MVN-V. What is the Java version for Maven? That means correct version is allocated or not, sir? So now if I go here and if I try to click on build now, automatically my output will be storing on the slave 2 in which folder? Next, slave 1 in which folder? TMP. If you go to the console output, in the console output only you can see directly. Okay. I'm going to the top now. Click on full log. In the full log section, currently my build is what here? Success. And my output is going to store on which place here? TMP place. Which place? By default, you need to have varlib Jenkins. But here what you are having now? TMP. So in my slave, if I go to cd/tmp, I can see the workspace here. Are you seeing the workspace here? Go to workspace. You can see the job name. What is the job name? Raham. Inside the job name, are you able to see the output or not, sir? This is the way how exactly you are going to distribute the build to the slave servers. So is the concept of creating the slave clear for all of you? Everybody. Online, can you please confirm, is the concept of creating the slaves clear for all of you? Of course, I'll repeat this one more time with one more server, but just let me know, like, is it clear or not? Okay. So it was clear for all of you. Fine. So now let's go and do the operation for the slave number 2. But for slave number 2, you are going to tell me the entire process. I won't tell anything for you. So complete end-to-end process, you're gonna guide me. So first of all, what I need to do here? Manage Jenkins. Next. Nodes. Wait. Sorry. So click on new node. It is slave 2. Previously have only permanent agent, but are you seeing copy existing node settings? If I select this one, I can able to copy the settings for my slave 1, but I don't do this. Why? Because I want to show it one more time now. If I copy, there is no use. Click on permanent agent, click on create. So number of executors, like 3 or 2, anything is fine. I'm going with 2 now, as of now. Remote root directory, TMP. Label, I'm gonna give the name as, for example, like XYZ. Anything is fine. So usage, last option. Launch method, last option. And here, verifying strategy. And availability is not required. Even though it's a dropdown, not required. So here, host means what we need to give now? IP address, right? So private IP address, take it and go to give it to the Jenkins server. Credentials, add Jenkins. What you need to select? SH username with private key. Correct. So description, I am using it for my slave 2. Description is for identification. You are using the PEM file for which slave? What is the username? Coming to the private key. So one more thing, already your slave 1 and slave 2 is using same PEM file. So no need to give PEM file for slave 2. You can use the slave 1 PEM file, but I am showing it for your additional clarity. Okay. Click on add. So now even though I can use slave 1, slave 2, anything is fine. Why? Because both are having same username and fine. Now go and click on. Now automatically what will happen? Slave 2 will be launching. For slave 3, number of build executors are 3. But for slave 2, how many will get? 2. But by default, what happened here? Offline. Expected output. I know it is gonna fail. Can anyone tell me what is the reason it got failed? No. Git and Maven will comes into the picture when you start the build. Have I start the build? Before starting the build only, it got failed now. Correct. Someone said there. Java. So if you go to slave 2, whenever if your slave become offline, go to the slave and click on the logs. Are you able to see logs here? At the bottom. In the logs, if you are seeing no such file or directory for the Java, are you able to see this one? You can see installing Java 8 or Java 11 on the agent. If you are seeing this error, that indicates your Java is not installed. Error is very here, like very like easy to troubleshoot. It is telling that clearly install either Java 8 or Java, otherwise I will not work. So now you go to your slave 2, connect to your slave 2. In the slave 2, know what you're gonna execute here. So what is the command to install Java 11? Amazon Linux Extras, Java 11. And one more thing, previously only Java 11 is supporting, but we can use Java 1.8.0 also. Anything is fine. Okay. Make sure this one. Guys, Jenkins Java version is not constant. It is gonna change frequently. Previous only 11 is supported, but we can also use now Java 8 version. Which version? Now instead of 11, can we install Java 8? 1.8.0. Let's go and try. Okay. Sudo -i. Give the direct command yum install. Install Git also. Git Java 1.8.0. Open JDK and give Maven. So I'm installing all of them at a time. Okay. So in the first slave, which version of Java is there? Version is 1.8.0 is running. Okay. So now here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to install of course, there you are having 2 versions. 11 is also there. Okay. And one more thing, how can you check the list of Java versions available in the server? Update -alternatives config Java. So here if I go and see, give the command Java -, I'm having 1.8.0. So now what I'll do, I'll be going here. Okay. I'll be clicking on slave 2. So now instead of recreating the entire configuration, you can click on launch agent. What you can click on? If you click on launch agent, is it working now? See, previously this is the last error what we are having. Now it is checking the Java version 1.8.0. But is it working properly? Is it coming to online? No, sir. Java it is supporting, but which version of Java we install now? 1.8.0. Both are equal. No, that is the small thing you need to understand. These both are not going to be same. Okay. So now just go and try to install Java 11. It will work. Amazon, Linux, extras, install Java hyphen OpenJDK 11 hyphen Y. So now you can go and you can check my Java 11 is going to be installed. And if I click on relaunch one more time, so just go to the slave to here back and here click on launch agent. If you see launch agent, automatically it is going to work now. But let me install it properly first. Is my Java 11 installed now? Of course, still it is showing 1.8.0, but I'm having two versions in my server. If you want me to show update, alternatives, config, Java. How many versions you are seeing now? Two. Okay. I'm not selecting any number. If I go here and click on launch agent, now you are going to get this one running. Is it connecting now? Is it connecting or not? No. Why? Because guys, already we discussed. First of all, you need to install Java 11. But what we install? That is the reason. Okay. Just switch the version. It will fine. If I switch the version, it is going to install now. So now just go and click on relaunch one more time. Relaunch one more time. Now automatically it is going to work now. Are you seeing it is working now? You can see agent successfully and online. So basically I can do it straightly. I can straightly install Java 11 and I can show you the output. But the reason why I shown you this many practical parts is definitely in your practice, you are going to get these errors. So in order to make that errors correctly in your practice session, here I shown you the multiple ways of installing. So here you need to understand 2 points. I'll make it very, very clear for you. While you are setting up the master and slave, first you need to install which version of Java? Java 11. Which one? Java 11. If you don't install Java 11, if you install Java 1.8.0 or any version of Java, then you need to switch to the version of 11. Otherwise, it is not going to work. I will show it practically for you. Again, I'll repeat it one more time for you. By default, in slave server, firstly, we need to install Java 11. Unfortunately, if you don't install Java 11, if you install some other version of Java, what is the mechanism we need to follow now? We need to switch to the version of, otherwise it is not going to work. So it's practically clear for all of you know. So definitely you are going to encounter these kind of issues in the practical part. So make sure you always install Java 11 first. Correct. So now if I go here and if I want to distribute the bill to my slave server, so I want to distribute the bill to my slave server 2. How can I distribute the bill to my slave server 2, sir? I'll go to the Raham here and I'll click on configuration. Now, in the restrict where this project can run, instead of label number 1, what I need to give now? XYZ. It is the label what I'm using. So click on save now. And if I click on bill now, automatically it is going to distribute the bill to my slave number 2. You can see it is running on slave number 2. So it is my slave number 2. Go to CD, TMP, workspace. What is the name of my job here? Raham. Are you seeing the output working here? And even though if you want to see it from console, if you go to the console here, it is going to tell me from where it is executing. In the console output, if I click on full log, in the top, it is telling that building remotely on slave 2 with the label in the workspace, TMP workspace. Is it clear now? So in this way, we are going to distribute the bill from one server to another with the help of which concept? Master and slave. Here master means what? Jenkins. Slave means EC2. Master and slave will be communicating by using. And what is agent here? Without agent, can we do work here? No. Instead of Java 11, if we have some other version of Java in slave, is it going to work? No. Definitely we need to have Java 11 initially. And how to assign the work from one, like how to assign the work to different slaves by using labels. Which one? labels. So this is the complete concept about the master and slave. So now tell me, is the concept of master and slave clear for all of you know? Everyone. Online, can you please confirm, is the concept of master and slave clear for all of you not? All of you, can you please ping me on your chat box once, whether it is clear or not? Okay, so Vikram, your question is, sir, why private IP? In real time, we use private IP only. Public IP address, we don't use much. So definitely you need to work with private IP only, Vikram. And second one, Akhil, how do you switch Java version? Already this we discussed from day one of Jenkins. There is a command called update alternatives. By using that command, you can switch, Akhil, okay? Fine. And one more thing, guys, are you seeing the timings here? Basically, this option is not in the older version of Jenkins, but in the newer version, if you go to the timings, you can see how much time it is taking actually. Are you seeing the time taken here? Waiting 0 millisecond, blocker 0 millisecond, buildable 1 millisecond, totally. So to build this, how many seconds we took, sir? 21 seconds. So you can see each and every scheduling of the Jenkins actual. But previously this option is not for the older version, but we can use it now. Fine. Now coming to the concept of troubleshooting. Here in today's class, we learn two troubleshooting techniques. How many? First one is if the build failure, first of all, we need to go and check the console output. Second one, if master and slave is not communicating with each other, what we need to check here? Java. Which one? What is the version we need to have for our slave? Java 11. If you install Java 1.8.0 and Java 11, what you are going to do now? Switch. Correct. Okay, that's it. Sir, you shown us how to execute the master and slave concept built in the freestyle, but I want to execute the pipeline. How can I execute? Very easy. Here already we are having the pipeline job ready. So I can use this pipeline. So in the pipeline, if you go to the configuration section, I want to execute this pipeline in the slave number 2, for example. So in this pipeline, instead of agent any, remove the any. Open the brace here. Put here label. What is the label of my slave 2? Simply if I go and click on save, automatically my output is going to store on slave 2. Okay, you have given parameters already. Fine. Parameters is your upcoming concept, guys. Don't worry it as of now, okay? So now if you go and see, the build is going to execute on my slave 2. If you want me to show, go to the console output. In the console output, what you are able to see here, it is running on. Why it is running on slave 2? Because I have given the label XYZ. And one more thing, basically, you have the option to pause or resume the pipeline. For example, if I want to pause it, click on this. Automatically, the playbook is going to be pause. Now, if you want to resume, so click on this. Automatically, it is going to be resume. Okay. So now you can go and see the pipeline is executing here. And here you are going to see the deployment. So if I click on yes, then only it is going to execute. You need to understand one thing. In the last class, whenever I shown the pipeline concept, are you able to see box like this? Right? But in this console, it is like, is it visible or not, sir? So whenever Jenkins will change versions, some people might able to get the newer version, but some people might able to see the older version. Don't confuse it, okay? Even though still if you go to stages, you can see this option. Are you able to see it? Yes. But this particular option is not available for my mission. Why? Because I download the recent one of the Jenkins server. That's it. So is the concept of master and slave clear for all of you now? Yep. So Kiran, I think I need to practice more on it, sir, to get more question for yours. Okay. Yeah, definitely the more you practice, then only you are going to get the more questions. Huh? Okay, then fine, sir. Now I'm going to show you how to manage the slave servers. Guys, basically, sometimes what we happen, I'm telling the admin activities. Which kind of activities? As an administrator, you need to apply patches for your server. What is the patch? Patch. Correct. Patch is nothing but fixing of the whenever if you are using these servers, definitely servers will have some of the bugs. So these bug fixes, security enhancement will be done with the patches actually. So in real time, we do patching for every server in a monthly basis. For example, if I do patching for one client in this month, next client I'll do it on other month like this. So similarly, we will apply patches for our Jenkins server also. Whenever if you apply patches to your Jenkins server, you need to stop it. What you need to do? Sir, if I stop the Jenkins server, what will happen now? I cannot able to execute the builds, correct or not? So remember, if you want to apply patches for your Jenkins, you need to make sure that no jobs are running. You need to make sure that no jobs are running. But if you want to apply patches for the slave, for example, I want to apply patch for my slave 2. Whenever if you want to apply the patch for slave 2, I need to make this slave 2 as unschedulable. That means no build need to be scheduled on this slave 2. Why? Why? Because slave 2 is going to offline mode now. Which mode? So if I click on make this node temporary offline, automatically this will go for offline. Why? Because I'm writing here, I'm applying patches. I'm applying patches for this node. You can call it as node or you can call it as slave. Anything is fine. So click on make this temporary offline. So once it is offline, here it is telling that on this so and so time, it is disconnected by the user Satya. Why? Because she is applying the patches for this node. So other people, other teammates can know, okay, this is currently going for the patching state. So I cannot able to schedule the build. Okay. So now if I go to the console, in the console, now I can be only able to run jobs in the slave 1 or slave 2, sir. For example, if I schedule the build on slave 2, for example, if I schedule the build on slave 2, I have given XYZ. This is not going to happen. Currently, it is on which status? It is on hold status pipeline. Why? Because if you go to the console output, in the console output, what you can see? Are you seeing any progress here? No. Why? Because it is telling that slave 2 is, so you cannot schedule the build when the slave is offline. And what is the reason for making slave offline? To apply the, so it is one of the activity what you are going to do in the real time. Is the concept clear for all of you know? And again, once the patching is done, you need to make this node online. So how to make this node online? Very easy. Go back to the slave 2. Here, click on bring this node back to the, that's it. There you go. Now automatically this node comes online. Whenever this node come online, automatically the pipeline will trigger the build. If you go and see, is pipeline executing the builds or not, sir? Until and unless the node become online, the pipeline will not trigger any build on it. Is it making sense for you? Correct. So here it is asking for the input parameter. Just go and give input. If I click about, what is going to happen? Stop. So you can see black color symbol. Are you able to see it now? See, if the build color is red, it is fail. If it is green, it is success. But if it is black, it is, there is one more thing called like a light yellow. We can call it as shut off your color. Like, what's your name? Tapas. Shut off the tapas color. Like that is going to be called as unstable build. Which one? Unstable build. Of course, colors are not important, but I'm just telling for your knowledge purpose. So whenever you are having the multiple slaves here, you want to monitor the health of the slaves actually. So if I click on save one, in the slave one, for example, I want to change any property. Number of executor for slave one is now currently, I want to make it is 2. So click on configure, you can change all the configurations. So instead of 3, I'm going to put now. If I click on slave, save here, automatically the configuration is. So after creating your slaves, if you want to update the configuration, just to go for the configuration section. Coming to the build history, if I click on build history, I can able to see how many number of builds I make on slave 1. In slave 1, how many number of builds I make here? 2. From the job called Raham, I make build number 2, but it is failed. But in the job called Raham, I make the build number 3. It is success. Like this, I can check the build history also. If I want to check for my slave number 2, go back to the nodes. In the nodes, go here for slave 2. And what you need to check here? Build history. In slave number 2, how many builds I make here? That is from the Raham job. Which job? Like that. And you can check the stats also. Stats means like how you are using the slave to, from what time to what time it is on peak stage. You can see the stats like this. And you can see the script console, which is not required for you. You can check the logs. Logs means what this slave is doing now. You can check the complete information, what it is using now. Okay. Like that, you can check the complete information from the system information. If you click on system information, the complete information of the slaves is gonna show here. For example, you want to see the Java home path of your slave. Click on this icon. Are you able to see the Java classic version here? If you want to see the home path, what is here? Remoting dot. So like this, you can be able to see the complete information of the slave by using the system information. Which information? And if you want to check environment variables, are you using the environment variable for the slave here? By default. So like this, you can check the complete information of the nodes like this. And in future, if you want to delete them, so directly you can go here and you can click on delete agent like this. If I click on delete, automatically it is gonna be removed. That's it. So this is the high level overview about the concept of master and slave. Now you might get it out. Sir, in real time, how many slaves are required to manage your workloads? It is the interview question for the experienced people, not for fresher. So whenever the experience gone for interview in the master and slave architecture, how you optimized the Jenkins builds and how many number of slaves use it. So typically one slave is enough to do the work. How many slaves? But if you are having more works, more and more workload, in that case, you are going to make it as 2. But typical work for Jenkins with the slave is 1. If you ask me, on our organization, we used only 1 master and 1 slave. But whenever we get releases, in release cycle, we need to do more work instantly. So in that case, whenever the releases happen, we'll create the new slave server and we can use it. Okay. It depends upon the work. If your work is slight and moderate, 1 master and 1 slave is enough. No, if your work is very high, you can go with 1 master and 2 slaves. Now you can ask me one more doubt. Sir, without slave, can we work in real time? You tell me the answer. Can we work or not? You cannot. If you try to work, definitely but Jenkins will face a lot of issues. Is the logic point clear for all of you know? That's it. So this is the concept of the master and slave. And there is one more small concept in this section that is called as post-build action. Which one? Very easy concept. Post-build action means action that happen after build is done. For example, if I make a build, after the build, I want to do some certain actions. In that case, I can go into the post-build. Here I'm having 3. Always, success. If I put always, it is gonna execute when the build is success or failure. It doesn't matter. But if I put success, it is gonna execute when the build is success. But if I put failure, it is gonna execute when the build is failure. For example, let's take in real time after your build is done, you are going to send the notification to the emails that your build is done. Okay. So in that case, the post build actions are gonna be very, very helpful for you. So for example, here my requirement is a small requirement. I want to print a message. Thank you. After my build is successful. So in that case, how can you do it? The concept is very easy. Already here your pipeline is there. So we can use the existing pipeline. Or we can go with the new new pipeline also. So guys, tell me the continuous integration pipeline one for the revision. So one more thing here, Satya, I'm removing the parameters here. So tell me the pipeline one more time. Pipeline, agent, any stages. Stage 1 is checkout. Inside stage, I need to give here steps. Inside steps, I need to give Git. No, first of all, take the code from Git. Just put here Git and give the repository URL. Okay, instead of single code, you can put double code also. That's completely fine. What is your stage number 2? Build. Steps, sh, mvn, compile. Next, stage, test, steps, sh, test. Next, stage, artifact, steps, sh, Wait. MVN package. So last deploy stage, deploy. But as of now, I'm just printing the message. Okay, echo message I'm printing. Echo, my code is deployed. But after I said the Tomcat, I'm going to show you the code, how to write the deployment code. But as of now, this I'm printing the message. So the post build action comes into the picture here. If you go and see in the post build, you need to give the new stage called post here. What you need to give? Post. In the post, I'm putting here always, but you can put success and you can put that completely depends upon your requirement. Okay. But generally in real time, we put always. We don't put success, we don't put failure. We prefer always only. So go here and try to give the post here. See, you need to make sure you are giving the post at the end of the complete artifact and stages. Okay. So it is my stage. If I give post here, I'm going to get the wrong. It is completely wrong syntax. You need to give the post here now. Okay. Simply starting of the stages, right? Starting of the stages, same line, we need to go and give the post. In the post build action, I'm going to give here always. So I'm just printing echo. Thank you. That means whatever you want to do, you can mention anything. You can configure the emails here. You can configure the build alerts. You can do anything. But for simplicity, for your understanding, I'm just printing normal message. So if I click on save, and the moment if I click on build now, automatically the build will execute and I can get the post build action here. Just go and check. In the post build, are you able to see the thank you message here? Why? Because I configured thank you in the post build. But in real time, what we are going to configure? Email notifications. Which notifications? Correct. So next here, if I go to configuration, sir, for success, I got the output. But even though if my code is failed, am I going to get the output? You will get, man. See, I'm gonna remove this single quote here. So it is a syntax mistake. Remember, if you do syntax mistake, your pipeline will not even execute. Let me show the difference. Currently, I'm doing syntax mistake. Which mistake? If I do any syntax mistake, pipeline will not even execute single stage. So in your practice, if you are seeing all the boxes are null, direct mistake is syntax. But if you do spelling mistakes, that is completely fine. Your pipeline will execute, but it is failed. Okay. There is a lot of difference between syntax mistake as well as spelling mistakes. For example, in the MVN compile, I'm removing E here. Spelling mistake or not, sir? Now spelling mistake is there, but is pipeline going to trigger or not? Is pipeline triggering? If you say empty boxes, mistake is from syntax. If you are seeing any mistake on the stage build, then it is a spelling mistake or any other logical mistake. Even though if pipeline got failed, is my post build action coming or not, sir? That is the reason why we need to put always. But instead of always, okay, if I put success now, what I put here, will I get the output? Yes or not? Why I won't get the output? Because here I put the success. But what is happening to the build? Build is getting the failure. So both are like opposite. Is it getting now? No. Why? Because I put success there, but build got failure. But instead of success, if I put failure now, if I put failure, am I going to get the output now? Correct. So click on save and click on build now. Automatically, even though the build got failed, you are going to get the output. Build got failed. But are we getting the output or not, sir? Yes. So, but remember, in real time, we are always going for always success and failure. We won't use generally. It is on very rare case scenario, but mostly we don't use it. 99.99% we go with the success only. I mean, like, sorry, always. So that's it for the session. Sir, actually, I installed stage view. That's why we are getting the box. Yes, definitely. So the plugin management. Of course, we are not seeing the plugin management as of now. In the upcoming days, I'm going to show you the plugin management. Till now, I shown you only one plugin, right? Custom plugin. But there is a concept called plugin management, which you are going to see in the upcoming days. So there you can see the stage itself. Fine. So in today's class, how many concepts we have seen? 2. What are those? First of all, we have seen the concept of master and slave. Later that we have seen the concept of post build actions. Which one? What is the agenda of master and slave? Sorry? To distribute the load or like bills, anything is fine, to the slave servers. And what is the concept of post build action? Action that happen after the bill. That is what we can call as general use case scenario will be configuration of email after the build is triggered, like that. That's it. So now coming to the interview questions on today's session, let me go for the interview questions. So in today's concept, the first interview question will be this one, where it is. Yeah. Explain about master and slave configuration. That means you need to tell the entire configuration. Are you able to see this one? This entire architecture you need to explain. Okay. Second question will be how to reduce the load on Jenkins server. How to reduce the load, sir? By distributing the build to the slaves. Correct. What is build executor? Number of builds that server can do. Okay. Next, what is agent in master and slave? Java 11. Don't tell Java 11. Why? Because in future, if it is Java 8, if you don't know, it is going to be wrong answer or not, sir? Agent is nothing but the software what you install on slave machines. Agent is nothing but the software what you install on the slave machines. Okay. You can call it as package or you can call it as software. Anything is fine. Next, what is label? Label is nothing but it's a unique name for the slave user to assign the job. That's it. And what is the post build action and type of post build actions? Actions that happen after the build. Remember, if your build is completed, then only the post build is execute. Okay. That is what we can call as post build action. Action that happen after build is executed. So types we have always failure, success. But generally, which one we are going to use among them? Always. What is the use case of post build action? Configuring the emails. Which one? Emails. So that's it for today's session. Now, if you are having any doubts or any queries, you can ask me. But before going for doubts and queries, how's the class for all of you today? Is the class clear for all of you? See, if I ask you this question, you need to give answer from your mouth. If you are shaking your head, how can I understand? Okay, tell me, how's the class for all of you now? Is it fine? Okay. So, online, can you please confirm me how's the class for all of you today? Can you please confirm me in chat box? Okay, it was clear. Good, fine, great. So guys, now it is time for our doubts and queries. Online, if you are having any doubts or any queries, you can ask me now. And offline, you can go ahead with the doubts and queries. First of all, offline, any queries from your end? Nothing, eh? Okay. So from online, I'm giving the option to Akil. You can go ahead, Akil Muhammad.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Akil. Go ahead.
Yeah. I have two questions to ask. Like, first is that can we delete any slave? Suppose frequently can we add or remove slaves?
Basically, once you create a slave in real time, you don't delete
Yeah.
that one. If you don't want, you are going to make it offline, or you can stop it and you can reuse whenever you want.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there's no frequently. It's good not practice to
No, no, no. This point already mentioned. If you don't want, you can make it offline, and whenever you want,
Okay.
you can bring it online. Okay. But we cannot
All
delete
right.
and recreate regularly.
Yeah. Yeah. One more thing I have to ask, like Java 11 is compulsory. Must be a Java 11 or
Current version is Java 11, but in future it might change. Okay.
can a master and can slave can have different versions?
No. Both will be same as of now.
Must be same. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Fine. Thank you.
Previously, exactly one and a half year ago, both master and slave is having 1.8.0. But now
Okay.
both are using Java 11 itself. Okay.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, in Jenkins master server, while doing patch, we need to stop the service rate. No, you stop the entire server, Vikram. See, if you apply patch, you need to stop the server, then you are going to start it. Okay. I think all of you know how to start the server and stop it, right? Yes. And Durga, coming to your query, wait, let me see your query first of all. But before that, let me give the notes for you, and I'll come to your query. And for today, I'm going to give the notes on the announcement here. Okay, only for today. You can take the notes from here for today's session. I'm posting it. Okay, so coming to your query now, Satya, let me see what exactly you are getting now. So, wait. You are trying to give it, right? Basically, I can call it as logical error. Which error? Syntax is absolutely perfect, but the error is logical error. I'll explain one more time for you. See, if you see here, in this cron job, what is the minutes value? 24. What is the hours value? 6, right? And what is the date? 21. And what is the month? 6. And what is the day? Friday. Okay, it is called as Thursday. Think it's, wait, 0 Sunday means 5 Friday. So it is syntax actually. So now it is a syntax what you have given. That was okay. And coming to the next your query here, let me understand what exactly it is. See guys, see here, if you understand the query here, the schedule will not match the dates on rarely. That means February 29th or June 31st. So the job may be triggered very rarely, if at all. What does that meaning? Try to decode that one. It is telling that the schedule will match dates only rarely. That is February 29th or never. Example is June 31. So the job may trigger very, very rarely, if at all. Like what does it meaning actually? Everything, whatever we have given is correct only, right? But like what is the issue? Today is 21. Okay, month is also 6 and it is Friday exactly. So she has given the build date 6:24. So 6:24 represents a 24 minute and hour will be what? 6 a.m. or like p.m. If it is p.m. we need to get 18. But if it is getting 6 means it is. Let me go and try to schedule with this one. I'll give the same exact thing for you. So go to the cron job. Build periodically. So I'll go 24, 6, 21, 6, 5. But before that, I need to check what is the time of my Jenkins, I mean my server actual. Like you can check any server time here. I'm going to the master node and I'm going to give here date. Sorry, small. What is the time now? 12:30. I'll schedule the bill for 12:31. So 31, it will be now 12. So cron job will schedule the build automatically. Of course, the build is going to fail. Why? Because I have given the wrong configuration, but okay. Let me check whether the build is triggering or not in the given time. What is the previous build number? 13. Okay. Or is in the 14th build happen now? For me, it is executing properly only. But I'm not sure, Satya, like why it is happening. UTC timings only, yeah, correct? But why this exact error came? Like, I'm not sure. Like you might done some wrong configuration, but have you given hour here? That is the reason. If you give hour, it is not going to work. You need to give star. If you put hour, how it is going to work for you? Already, if I go and see this one, in the starting of the troubleshooting, I said the syntax is correct, but there is a logic error. What is the logic error? Instead of here 24, if I put hour, okay, my cron job will not able to validate. Why? Because cron job can validate only numbers, but here instead of numbers, what we have given? Alphabet. So is it going to work? That is the reason it is telling that it is not valid. I hope it is clear for you, Durga, no? Telling that whatever the configuration you have given, wait, I remove this one. See, basically, if you go and see, previously you have given the configuration of, instead of 24, what you have given? You have given the value as H. So by default, cron job will validate the time. Time will be on alphabetical format or like numerical format. But here, which one you have given? So is it gonna take this error or is it gonna execute? Error. Why? Because here I need to validate only numbers, but instead of numbers, I am going to get the alphabets. That is the reason it is telling that instead of using H, put the 24 value. Okay, like that. I mean, like 24-hour format it is. 24 only given. No, no, no. Like, and one more thing, if you give it 24 also, it's gonna be wrong. Why? Because if you calculate the timings, it starts from 0 to 23. How come 24 will execute? You got the logic, eh? Even though if you give 24, the 24 is the hour format. If you give 24 value, it won't take. Why? Because in 24-hour format, the values will come from 0 to 23. But if you give 24, it is out of range or not, sir? I hope like Durga, it is clear for you, know. 21 also not worked, but for me it worked, right? Like try to check it one more time, Durga. Like for me it worked. If it is not working for you, like I'll try to see like what is the issue. Okay, try it now after session. So let's see. Yep. Okay then. So that's it for today's session. In tomorrow's class, we are going to see the concept of Artifactory. So let's connect on tomorrow's session. Have a great day. Bye all. Thank you.